do you think there's other species on this planet? Because you've spoke about that quite a lot. You've wrote over 20 books. Do you think there's other people walking among us as well?
Oh, well, absolutely. I mean, let's put this again into context. According to mainstream science, if you compare the size of planet Earth with the projected size of the universe, planet Earth is the equivalent of a billionth of a pinhead. So, if you say that life as we know it only exists on a billionth of a pinhead within the greater reality, you are, well, that's credible. You could be an academic saying that. But you say, actually, hold on a minute. Elephant, living room, sofa, billionth of a pinhead, night sky, which is a tiny fraction even of one galaxy, and there's billions of galaxies in the universe, they say now. Despite all that, life is... Oh, I'm having a problem.
That microphone's getting a
We're going to fall out, Mike. But we're saying that life as we know it only exists on a billionth of a pinhead and nowhere else. I mean, it's insanity. And then you think this. Look at the vastness of different forms that exist in animals, in insects, in nature, in all of it. Even in the human race. Look at someone from China or someone from Asia and someone from South America, from South Africa, from Europe. Look at the differences. You look at the range of form, of different form and expressions of form that exist within a smear of 0.005% of the universe. What the heck in the infinity beyond this reality, which is in almost the entirety of everything, what the heck exists out there in terms of form, and different expressions of consciousness?
How do we know what's out there, David? See, I'm a man who questions everything. Unless I see it with my own eyes, I struggle to believe it. And people say, I don't believe in conspiracy theories, and we touched on it earlier. Everything's a conspiracy because unless you see it with your own eyes, or everything, it's the way you perceive things or your perception. How do we actually know what's out there? How do we know we're not in a snow globe? How do we know the world's not flat or round? How do we know the answers?
Well, basically, you don't, in terms of, every I dotted and every T crossed. All you can do is put the information that you have across together and come to conclusions. That's all you can really do. But, when I'm talking about non-human races interacting with and manipulating human society, I've not sat in a darkened room and pulled it out the bloody ether, smoking a weed. I've been to more than 60 countries over 30 years researching this. I've talked to whistleblowers on the inside of the American military and intelligence complex, many of them. I've talked to shamans around the world who are carriers of the ancient knowledge of those societies. And when you put what the two say together, you get the same answer, that yes, there is a non-human force that is manipulating human society. And you see it in ancient accounts. You see the common themes around the world in different cultures describing the same thing. And you see one common theme, for instance, which is that this non-human force manipulated human genetics. This comes out in the Old Testament, for instance, as the sons of God who interbred with the daughters of men. People say, "Oh, that's in the Bible." Well, yes, it is, but the theme is everywhere in non-Bible countries galore, cultures galore. And so you put it all together and you come to conclusions. Then you write it down, you connect the dots, and then you put it out, and then people decide whether they want to believe it or not. That's the deal. But when you look at how narrow the band is that we can see and perceive, my experience over the last 30 years says to me that's not an accident. Mm-hmm. Somehow, human genetics has been manipulated to only perceive a very narrow band of reality, which makes us obviously far more controllable.